Greetings. Welcome to another video in our series of videos on liberalizing inter-African trade in wild meat. This video series is brought to you by the African Wildlife Economy Institute at Stellenbosch University in South Africa in partnership with the Atlas Network. Thank you for watching.
In the last video, I explained the purpose of the AfCFTA and its potential. In this video, I turn to non-tariff barriers. In the previous video, I shared that the African Union has estimated that the AfCFTA has the potential to boost intra-African trade by 52.3% by eliminating import duties and to double this trade if non-tariff barriers are also reduced. So what are the NTBs and why are they often so difficult to resolve? Non-tariff barriers are barriers that impede trade through mechanisms other than the imposition of tariffs, and what makes them difficult to resolve is that they are not necessarily intentional, and there is no closed list of what form they may manifest in. The categories of non-tariff barriers that are typically focused on are those that are unjustifiable, unnecessary, or protectionist, or intentionally implemented to protect an industry from competition. Non-tariff barriers are almost always complicated. Measures such as SPS measures that legitimately require a level of control, inspection, and approval procedures, for example, due to scientifically justified need to minimize the chance of transferring diseases across borders, are not due to their sometimes prohibitory nature unjustified. They can be both justified and prohibit movement, for example. Their nature as NTBs, however, can develop if scientific justification is absent or a related procedure is inefficient or discriminatory, for example. The reduction of non-tariff barriers in inter-African trade is critical to the wild meat industry's ability to benefit from the potential of the AfCFTA. The AfCFTA provides a mechanism through which to report non-tariff barriers. I address the mechanism itself in the next section. In the context of what non-tariff barriers are or what they might manifest as, the African Union provides these categories as guidelines. As you can see from the 15 examples provided, the task of reducing barriers in the trade of goods and specifically in wild meat is a big one. Some of the barriers that the wild meat industry faces are import bans, usually related to animal health status of a country, related to diseases such as foot and mouth disease, for example. Unjustified sanitary conditions. This is closely linked to import bans, but does not necessarily result in a ban, but can be a delay in inspections or permitting related to sanitary conditions, etc. Inadequate customs classification and the determination of eligibility of an exporting country is also an example. The AfCFTA mechanism is exactly that. It's a means through which to centrally report, monitor, and eliminate non-tariff barriers online. The research evaluated aspects of the mechanism and considered its appropriateness as a forum of dispute resolution for the barriers within the scope of this research. Any of the examples of non-tariff barriers in the previous slide can be reported through this mechanism. It is, however, not the appropriate forum for all barriers experienced in the wild meat industry. The mechanism itself does not, for example, build capacity. A benefit of the mechanism is that it is open to all business sectors, and anyone affected by NTBs in the intra-African trade of goods can report them through the mechanism. When reporting the barrier, it will be categorized into one of those categories shown in this earlier slide. It's not a closed list, and you can see with the category Other at the end, a lot of scenarios could amount to being non-tariff barriers. This video and the ones before it have provided the foundation for the research and insight into where the information for the research was sought and against what it was evaluated. In the next two videos, I move on to presenting the findings of the research and the related policy recommendations. As described earlier in the series, an outcome of the research was that the barriers faced by the wild meat industry are not all barriers that the AfCFTA mechanism can reasonably be expected to resolve. The recommendations are split into two categories. The first is technical recommendations related to the mechanism itself, and the second is broader recommendations. These are addressed in separate videos.
Increasing the trade in wild meat across the African continent is a key research area for the Institute. We see international trade of wildlife products as critical to the conservation of landscapes and wildlife on the continent and to the enhancement of local livelihoods and to community well-being. For more information on our work, please visit our website. Also join us on social media. You'll find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you again for watching this video.